now. So hey friends, Lori Hart here, a holistic health and wellness coach specializing in the ketogenic low carb lifestyle and clean living and clean eating all around. So how are you guys today? We are going to talk about something that I get asked all the time. How do I know how many calories to eat? How do I know what macros are and what do they even mean? So we're going to go through that. If you're brand new to keto or low carb, I want to explain to you, first of all, they are both very, very different diets, okay? They're very different lifestyles. You're either living a keto lifestyle or a low carb lifestyle, and not both, all right? So low carb is low carb, less fat. Keto is high fat, low carb, okay? So in the beginning, we're gonna start out finding what our macronutrients are. And basically, that's just the percent of calories, like the percentage of carbs, protein, and fat into calories, how much that we're gonna be able to eat in a day, okay? Because the science is true, you guys. Calories in, calories out. If you're not burning and you're eating way too many calories, then you are going to gain weight. It's just a fact. So I'm gonna go through this with you one more time. Macro stands for macronutrient, which is just the percentage of protein, carbs, and fat, okay? So if you're doing keto, low carb, or keto, not low carb, keto, 5% of your calories are gonna come from carbohydrates. 20% of your calories are gonna come from protein, and 75%, that's right, you guys, 75% of your calories are going to come from fat. Now, I know that that sounds scary, but fat being healthy fat, like grass-fed butter, right? Things that are avocado oil, things that are non-seed oils, those are non-healthy fats. So when people think about keto, they think that they can just eat all the bacon that they want, all the crappy butter that they want. You guys, that stuff is not gonna serve you. Bacon is okay, butter is okay, but you wanna get a higher quality. If that's 75% of your calories is going to be fat, I wanna make sure I'm doing things like using Kerrygold butter, grass-fed meats, grass-fed beefs. I'm gonna be sure that I'm using high quality fats, avocados, olives, things like that. And we're gonna get into that in another video of what is considered a high quality fat versus low quality fats, okay? So basically that's what it is. Calories in, calories out, science is science. You cannot you need to eat your calories, but you can also overeat your calories. Just because something seems to be keto or seems to be low carb or healthy for you, you're probably gonna end up eating too much. I use this in the term of nuts. Nuts are very healthy, but you can overeat the calorie amount of nuts really, really fast. So think about what 75 grams of fat could look like, right? Get some nuts out. What is a tablespoon of peanut butter? Maybe 18 grams of fat. So 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, you've got your fat for the day. Like it's a lot, okay? All right, so I'm gonna recommend a couple of apps to you. One is called Chromometer, and the other is MyFitnessPal. Now, I wanna talk to you about MyFitnessPal because I believe it's really important to understand something. When you are looking at other people's recipes and it says carbs, fat, protein, it's really important that you take the time to go on MyFitnessPal and input your own recipes and input the ingredients that you use. If you're using somebody else's recipe, for instance, and say they're using a specific sauce, specific red sauce, and you're using a different specific red sauce, and if you go and you trust the calorie, protein, carb content, you could be messing it up by 3, 4, or 5 carbs in one meal. And that's when you're eating less than 20 a day, that's a good amount. So I always just encourage you that if you are the person, you're in charge of you. Nobody's in charge of you. So don't leave that up to other people to figure out. Take the time, input the food that you're inputting in your mouth, start collecting it, because you know what you end up eating, right? So start collecting it and have it for yourself. All right, so I also want to talk to you about net carbs versus total carbs. So very, very, very different. On a keto diet, we're going to count the net carbs, okay? The net carbs. That's really important to count versus the total carbs. Now, things that you can subtract from net carbs would be fiber, dietary fiber, and sugar alcohols. But I'm going to tell you this one fact. Sugar alcohols are very tricky, okay? You can subtract up to 5 grams of sugar alcohols. Some of the products out there in the market right now, like Quest bars, things like that, they're gonna have very sugar alcohol. You cannot take the whole full amount off, okay? You'll screw up your net carb count, you won't be losing weight or fat, and you'll be really upset with yourself. So please make sure that you always are taking only 5 of the sugar alcohols off of the food. And take a look at the food. If it's super highly processed, chances are it's not going to be good for you. It's going to have seed oils. It's going to cause inflammation. It's going to cause disease. It's going to cause your body to be insulin resistant. It's going to cause you to have problems. Anything that is so highly processed that you're taking out 26 grams of fiber, it's probably not going to serve you well. So I like to look at foods as whole. Butter, for instance, peanut butter should just be peanuts, maybe salt, right? Always look for foods in their whole form. That's what you should be eating, okay? All right, so let's get into this. This is gonna be fun, 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 fun. All right, we are gonna go to a website. There's an app and there's also a website, but we're gonna go to a website called the Keto Diet App.com. Now, don't go to the app. I want you to go to the Keto Diet App.com, and we can do this together, okay? I'm gonna give you a minute. Pull out your phones, pull out your tablets, take out a pen, take out a piece of paper. I want you to write this down, ketodietapp.com, and that's gonna give us a macro calculator. I'm gonna help you personally find your exact calorie, your exact protein, carbs, and fat right now, right here, so that you are on your way to health, okay? So once you get into the ketodietapp.com, I want you to go up to the tools or the 3 lines or the search bar, and I just want you to put in macro calculator or look around for the macro calculator. It's gonna be different if you're on your phone or your tablet or whatever. So find the macro calculator. And the first thing that macro calculator is going to ask you is it's gonna basically ask you, are you in the US? Are you US customary? Now you may or may not be in the US. Excuse me, oh my goodness, that was weird. You may or, and I'm not gonna stop the video for that. You may or may not be in the US, and that's okay. Turns out that it also has metric and kilograms and all that. So if you are in the US, you're gonna click on US customary, okay? Next thing it's gonna ask you is your gender. I think you can handle that. Your age, I think you can handle that. Your weight, I want you to get on a scale and physically step on it and see the number at the bottom, and I want you to input this into the app, or the website, not the app. Very important that we have the correct weight for your starting macros, because eventually down the road we may switch your macros, right? As you start to lose fat and as your weight starts to go down, all of this stuff is gonna change over time, okay? So get your weight. And then the next thing I want you to do is where it asks you about movement, okay? What I want you to do, unless you're running a 5K a day, unless you are super duper athletic, if so, you wouldn't be wanting to be doing keto for fat loss, probably. But I want you to pick sedentary. I just want you to pick that so that you get the best protein count, okay? Pick sedentary. And then where it asks you for your body fat. Now, most people don't know their body fat offhand. If you know your body fat offhand, no problem. Awesome, write it in. I literally just went and got mine done. I got pinched and poked everywhere on my body with a little caliber thing. You can also go to like your local YMCA, maybe your local gym, and they might have one of those ones where you stand on a little machine, you hold the handles, and it measures body fat. For the most part, most people are gonna be between 25 and 35% body fats, okay? So I'm gonna ask you to just put in the number 30% if you don't know your body fat. Just put in 30%, okay? And then you're gonna hit calculate, okay? And it's gonna give us different breakdowns. It's gonna give us light, moderate, and heavy, or whatever. I don't have it in front of me. You'll know what I mean, but I want you to pick the moderate calorie amount, okay? And when you look at that, it's gonna probably give you a calorie range somewhere between 12 and 1,700 calories. It's gonna give you fat of somewhere between, I don't know, 70 and 112, 20 grams. So it's going to be a higher number than the carbs, which is gonna give you 20, and also the protein. So everybody's protein will be different. This is custom to you, okay? And it's also gonna give you, so you're gonna know your calorie amount for the day. That's where MyFitnessPal comes in very handy, because you can log your calories. You can log your fats, you can log your carbs, you can log, and there's also Carb Manager is another app, Chromometer is another app. There's several apps out there for getting up and running, getting started, okay? So we've got this all done now. Now the next thing I want to tell you about is, so you're going to look at the moderate. You're going to look at the moderate, and that's where you're going to stay in that level. Now, until you take 3 weeks of a pause or a stall or no fat is coming off, I mean, you're stuck. 3 weeks go by and you're like, I am not losing a pound. I don't know what is going on here. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, that's when you go back and you check your weight. Okay, and you go back to this app page, this not app, it's not an app, it's a website, ketodiettapp.com. You go back there and you plug in the new numbers, because your new numbers are now going to give you new readings on macros. Okay, now if you're in that stall, you can always consider a full body keto reboot or reset, and you can always get a hold of me for that. I can show you what that is. But what I really would like you to do is go back and redo your macros. Very important. And so that is really how you set your macros up for success. That's how you set your self up for success. And start looking at the labels of your food. I want you to start looking at the labels and learning how to take off the sugar, alcohols, and the dietary fiber. But really, that is it. So I hope that was super helpful for you guys to learn how to know what calories and macros and fat and protein, what they are and what they mean. I want you to be successful on your journey to better. If you are doing a low carb diet, now there's a whole different set of macros. They go on a whole different, your carbs are going to be a lot higher and your fat is going to be a lot lower. So we can learn that again next week, or you can ask me if that's something that you're interested in, living the low carb lifestyle. But anyways, I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.